Hello and welcome to the first video in a new series we're going to be running, showing you how to cook all your favourite takeaway classics. First up for you we have crispy duck pancakes. So let's get started. Begin by mixing together a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of Chinese 5-spice, and then you're going to liberally sprinkle this all over the duck legs, top and bottom, and then leave to cure for about 4 hours. After 4 hours you'll see all this liquid has been drawn out, so now you're just going to pour that away and give your duck legs a rinse in cold water to remove all of the cure. Next, get yourself a oven-proof dish with high sides, add into it 1 star anise, 1 stick of cinnamon, and about 15 to 20 black peppercorns. Completely dry your duck by patting it with paper towels, and then we're going to add it into the dish, and now pour over enough oil until the duck is completely submerged. And now cover with a piece of baking paper, making sure you have full contact with the oil and the duck. This will keep it under the oil during the long cooking process. And place into the oven for 3 hours. Okay, so let's now move on to our pancakes. These are very easy to make. Start by adding your flour into a large mixing bowl, and then you can add in your salt. And lastly, we're just going to pour over our hot water. Now, as with any dough, you're going to have to knead this together, but I wouldn't use your hands right away as you've just poured boiling water into the mix, so it'll be very hot. So start with the back of a wooden spoon, mix to a rough dough, check that it's not too hot, and then you can begin your kneading process with your hands. And knead for 5 minutes until you form a smooth dough. Once smooth, shape into a ball and leave to rest for 10 minutes. Once rested, you're going to need to weigh this out into equal sized pieces. I'm using 30-gram balls here, and it is important that you weigh these out into the same size pieces so you get the same size pancakes for later. You'll see why. Okay, once weighed out, you're going to roll each of them into a rough ball. It doesn't have to be too perfect here, just a rough circle shape. And remember, I'll always put the recipes and the equipment I use in the description below. So now we need to roll each of these balls out into a flat disc. Again, it doesn't particularly matter how big they are at this point, as long as they are all the same. Once you have them all rolled out, you're going to brush the top of the first one with some oil. And then the same with the second one, and this time place it on top of the first one, and then you're going to repeat this 2 more times until you have a stack of 4. Now that you've got your stack, you're going to gently press down evenly all over until it starts to stretch out to about 2 inches bigger than it was. And now switch your rolling pin, and you're going to roll these out to at least double in size. Make sure after every roll you rotate your dough 90 degrees, this will keep it nice and round. Next up, you want to preheat a frying pan on a low to medium heat and place in your dough, and you're going to give this about 3 minutes on each side. You'll know they're done when you can see some very light pale white patches starting to appear. And whilst they're cooking, you can roll out the rest of your pancakes, and after 3 minutes give your first batch a flip. Okay, it's now been 6 minutes, so I can take these ones out. I'll place my other ones in, and here's the not so fun part of this. You have to separate these whilst they are still very hot. If you leave these to cool down, it's going to be impossible to peel the individual pancakes apart. And there we go, that's one duck pancake done, and you can see they're nice and thin. And once you've separated them, keep them on a plate under a cloth to prevent them from drying out. And then just repeat the process with all the rest of your pancakes. Moving back to the duck, it's now been 3 hours, and we're going to take it out of the oven. And you can see now that it is fully cooked, and it should be nice and tender, but have no colour or that crisp that we want. So to get to that stage, the first thing we're going to do is drain off all this excess fat, but do not throw it away because we're going to use it for something later. And then we're going to roast these in a hot oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until crispy. So grab yourself a baking paper lined baking tray, making sure that it has at least a small side to it because there will be some oil that comes out of this duck whilst roasting. Place them on and put them into that oven. And whilst that's roasting, you can move back to your pancakes. This is completely optional, but I like the way it looks. So you're going to put a bowl upside down and cut around your pancakes until you have these perfect circles. Okay, onto a little bit of vegetable prep now, and I know I'm not cutting these spring onions into the long thin pieces that you might be used to, but I don't see the point of them because they're just incredibly difficult to eat that way, so I prefer them this way. And then we're going to just cut some cucumber into batons, and then we can remove our duck from the oven, and listen to this. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is shred our duck, so remove one piece and place it onto a plate. And we need to be very careful here because this does have some small bones in it and some cartilage you're not going to want in your pancakes. So to do that, you're going to take 2 forks and you're going to just rip it into pieces, making sure you remove these bones here. So first bone to remove is the drumstick, this piece of cartilage, and now the thigh bone. And finally this small needle-like bone that runs down the drumstick. And that's it, you're ready to make your classic duck pancakes however you like them. Just bear in mind, each duck leg will make between 6 and 8 pancakes, depending on how much you like in them. Okay, so now we're going to move on to my favourite way of making a duck pancake, and this is very similar to what we've already seen, so we still need to cook the duck in the same way, and we still need to make the pancakes in the same way. However, this time we're just going to take the shredded duck and we're going to mix in some hoisin sauce directly into it. And in the meantime, we're going to heat up some of the fat that we cooked the duck in, and we're going to heat that on high in a pan until it's about 180 degrees centigrade or 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now take some of your duck in hoisin sauce and place it on your pancake. No spring onions or cucumber in this one. And here I have a slurry of flour and water. It's just 1 tablespoon of water and 1 tablespoon of flour mixed together. And we're going to spread some of that just on the outside edge of the pancake. This is going to help it stick together and not come apart when we fry it. And now we're just going to roll this up like a spring roll, so fold in both of the sides, followed by the bottom edge, and just roll up towards the top and seal using that flour. And I'll place these into your preheated oil for about 2 minutes each side, or until golden brown and crispy. After the initial 2 minutes, turn them over and cook for another 2 minutes on the other side. Once they're browned all the way around, take them out and put them onto kitchen towel and repeat as many times as you need to. And there we have it. There's your classic original pancakes and the crispy version that I much prefer. Give them both a go and let me know which one you prefer down in the comments, or drop me a suggestion for anything you'd like to see in the next video of Takeaway Classics. See you next week.